Hi everyone, this is Mr. Ocker from Monroe Elementary School in Cumberland Valley. I'm coming to you with another lesson, and today I have this question for you. Are any of you into writing computer codes? Like, I know some of you I've seen in explorations, you're writing codes for videos or to make characters move or video games, but as you can probably tell, I know next to nothing about this. But I do enjoy writing music codes. So music codes, what I'm actually referring to are scales. Most music is based off of various types of scales. When we build a scale, each scale follows a coding system or computer coding system. There are different codes or scales or modes or sounds and tonalities that help composers write music. Today we will talk about the major scale. Can you repeat that after me? Major scale. Very good. I really love how this next video in link number 1 will explain the major scale and how it relates to a computer code. It really opened my eyes to this new way of thinking about major scales that might help you guys. So check it out, link number 1. So, does my comparison or analogy make a little more sense after that video? I hope so. So today, guys, we're going to be using virtual pianos, and there are going to be times in this lesson where I'm going to ask you to pause the video in order to try a concept. And you'll have to close or minimize YouTube or have another tab open so that you can access the virtual piano easily. I don't think you'll be able to have both the virtual piano and the YouTube video going at the same time, split screen. Maybe 5th graders, 4th grade, you're on the iPad, so probably just best to have one tab for your virtual piano and another with this video. So right here I've got my major scale equation. As you can see, it's got a spot for the starting note. Then it tells you go a whole step, and then from that note, another whole step. From that note, a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half. My apologies, got a little into the whole step, half step chant there for a major scale. This is the coding, so to speak, for a major scale. So before we construct a major scale, let's review whole steps and half steps using our keyboard. So I'm going to get a little closer here, and we're talking about the note D. I want us to think, this is the note D. What is a whole step higher from D? To figure this out, we're going to simply count 2 notes higher. Make sure that you are including the black keys and white keys when you move up 2 steps. So let's go 2 keys higher. 1, 2. A whole step equals 2 half steps. So those were our 2 half steps to make a whole step to get to the note what? E. Very good. Let's look at the note F sharp. So you'll notice on here there's F sharp and G flat. Depending on the scale or what you're doing, you may be calling them flat notes or sharp notes. But right now, let's call it F sharp. And we're going to go a half step up from F sharp, which is the very next key, which is a white key, and the note G. All right, I'm going to give you a second to figure this next one out. What is a whole step from B flat? And you can look at any B flat on the board. A whole step. So look at B flat, and now think 2 steps higher. 2 keys higher. 1, 2. The answer is C. Just one last note on sharps and flats. Sharps indicate a raised note and the direction it wants to resolve. Flats indicate a lower note and the direction it wants to resolve. So if I'm singing this note like, ah, did you hear how it resolved going up? And sometimes that can happen with notes that make it sound like it wants to go down. A better example would be if I played you a song in context. But you may hear that once in a while. Just a fun fact for you. All right, everyone, let's head back to our major scale and let's use our equation here to figure out a scale. Today we are going to start with G major. So G is simply the first note that we will put here, G. And I'm going to mark this for you, G. Now we go a whole step. So you can even do this if you want. I'm going to go one note, one half step, another half step makes a whole, and I have A as my next note. We go a whole step from A. So think about it. Half plus a half is a whole, so that means B is our next note. Now we're going a half step from B. Can't be a black key, there's nothing there, so it must be, the very next note is C. Whole step from C. 1, 2, D. A whole step from D. Okay, black key to this next key is E. A whole step from E. Nothing here, so we're going to go to F. And then F sharp. We're going to call this one an F sharp, not G flat, because this scale we use sharps to indicate the black keys. And now a half step from F sharp to complete the scale is G. Oops, there we go. Let's do one more together. Our next scale is going to be F major. F major has one flat in it. So when we get to any of those black keys, make sure you use flat and not the sharp that option it offers. So start here on F. We go a whole step from F. 1, 2, G. A whole step from G. Count them up. 1, 2. A. Not a whole step. A half step from A. Gets us to this black key, and you can see the options are A sharp or B flat. Do you remember which one I said to use? B flat. A whole step from B flat. 1, 2 to C. A whole step from C. 1, 2. D. My ink's running out. And a whole step from D. Black key to this white key is E. Half step from E is F. Make sure you find yourself a pen with ink. I think you're probably understanding the pattern here. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is to pause this video after this section and open up in link number 2 your virtual piano. And then try to play these notes on the virtual piano. So you'll have this paper out, and you'll go to your F major scale or your G major scale, and you're just going to play those notes in the order that you mark them on here. And then you will have played a major scale. So some of you are probably thinking, okay, I get it. It's a pattern, it's coding. But the result of the major scale is not that great. It's not like you just played it on the virtual piano, right? It sounded fine. It sounded good. It's not like a song. But guys, this is the foundation of music. From here, we can explore chords and patterns. We can explore different scales and modes. This is the basic foundation of music that you need as you move into higher grades and become more focused on learning an instrument or music. And in a couple lessons, I'm going to be referring back to this major scale. So don't forget about it. It's going to be important with our study of chord progressions coming up. You guys have one extra paper for your major scale. I'm going to encourage you to do your own without my help. Take that equation and start on the note D. That's D major. D major has sharps. Hashtag D major scale. So, 2 sharps, in fact. Start on that D and see if you can figure out the pattern for the major scale. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick lesson on discussion on scales. It's really important to music, and I'm looking forward to using our knowledge of scales in the future. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.